So, you know what I really like about Southern tea?
No. What do you really like?
It comes with children, living children.
Living children.
Yes, I'm sure you must be aware of the recent ban, even though it's I'm not quite sure if it's a complete and total ban on all abortions. I know it does ban.
Talking about the heartbeat bill in Alabama.
No, that the heartbeat bill is in Georgia and Ohio. Alabama did another step forward, and they banned it also in cases of rape and incest.
Abortions are still permitted in the Alabama statute, which I read this morning. They're still permitted when a physician can verify. When a physician can verify, very important codicil there, can verify that the pregnancy is a fatal threat to the mother. If the mother's life is fatally at stake.
Yeah.
It has to be fatal. It can't be like, oh, I've got a headache. Oh, I want to go bowling this afternoon. Oh, I found another cute boyfriend. No, it can't be anything like that.
Yeah.
It can't be anything
there's a huge difference between risk of health of the mother and risk of life of the mother. Huge difference. Right. But a lot of people are talking about how this is inhumane, which I find to be the most ironic thing ever, that not killing something is inhumane. They keep trotting out the exact same arguments, but you take any of these arguments to their reasonable conclusion, it's just, I mean, next time you hear somebody rant, replace all of their made-up buzzwords like reproductive health care. Change that to me killing a child. What is reproductive health care? Like, I mean, a natural birth is the safest and healthiest. Any other like a C-section, an abortion, that is an increased risk. You are putting yourself more at risk. You are being greater risk to your health by doing an abortion.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
I was watching Senator Booger. Is his name Booger? Like the thing you pick out of your nose, Booger?
You'd think it would be Booker, but he's never read about Spartacus. So
Anyway, he says that this law is a threat to civil rights. It's so the thing is that they don't admit that the fetus in the womb is a human being. I think they must think it's a giraffe or a pine tree
it's a fetus. It's a fetus, but they never explain a fetus of what? Is it a giraffe fetus? Is it a hippopotamus fetus?
Well, no, you see, central to their whole argument against these laws of protecting the unborn, the preborn, as I call them, preborn. I think Seth Gruber calls them the preborn as well. The central to their argument is the assumption that at procreation, what happens after procreation, the instant of procreation, is not a human being yet. And they keep moving the goalposts. Okay? They keep moving the goalposts. So
brain waves,
or days,
whether there's like heartbeat. That heartbeat used to be a goalpost. Now it's like nope. The heartbeat's like no, that's cruel and evil if you put that.
Well, and then they said, okay, well, the Hyde Amendment. Okay, you're familiar with that. I think our listeners, even in Japan, have heard about the Hyde Amendment.
Basically,
the Hyde Amendment says, okay, no abortions can be funded with federal tax dollars in the first trimester. However, then the feminists and the feminazis and they've moved the goalpost to we can do abortions in the second trimester. Well, there have been many instances of babies being born in the second trimester, live births. They're called preemies. When I was a kid, I knew some preemies. They were in my school. And their moms and their dads would, at any gathering, they'd say, she's a preemie baby. She was born really early. You go, oh, how much did she weigh? Well, she only weighed 4 pounds. Wow, she weighed 4 pounds. I was 9 pounds. I went to full term. So the root of this problem is the left, the cultural Marxists, have succeeded in redefining.
You're 100% right. I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's really where they're standing on is
Yeah.
It's words and definitions.
Yeah.
I'm constantly astounded when they say, oh, well, you're not pro-life, you're pro-birth. Well, does that mean you're anti-birth? I mean, I mean, they use such words and phrases that it forces your thinking in a certain way. It doesn't let you honestly see the whole situation.
They use what's called a euphemism, and a euphemism is taking something that's not pleasant and putting some lipstick on it. Okay.
Yeah, like saying instead of saying sex, you say they slept together.
You just reminded me of something. In the medical community.
I know I did. I know I reminded you of something.
As soon as you said sex. No. No, in the medical community, they have lots of euphemisms. They never want to talk about death. You know how they describe death?
Pass away.
No.
Moved on.
No. She was compromised this afternoon at 7:35.
Oh, that's interesting.
Compromised.
Like she compromised with life and said, okay, we're done here.
Her ends, her actual existence was compromised.
Now,
they're masters. Doctors are masters at euphemisms.
Well, you see, the other thing, this is why they've been able to get away with abortion propaganda for so long, is that they throw people away from the table. And they act as, like, for example, a lot of feminazis watching this right now are probably pretty upset that it's two men talking about this. And they're also, this is something that really made me just laugh.
I don't know about you, but, I speak for yourself. I know.
Well, yeah. Well, it is a Tuesday. No, it's a Thursday. So, it's hard to tell what
I'm not wearing yellow. I'm not wearing yellow.
Yeah. So, in Alabama, I believe most of the senators that voted for the bill were men. And so people like Elizabeth Warren and all these other people, oh, how dare, see, look, it's all men that voted for this ban.
A woman signed the bill.
A woman was the governor who signed the bill. And she liked
it. To be a real woman, not a trans woman or a fake woman.
You know what else?
Or a psychologically sick woman.
55% of the Alabama electorate are female. Meaning a majority of the voters, the people who actually voted for people, were female. So when they make that sort of a claim, what they're basically saying is that the women of Alabama are stupid.
Right.
So now, it's not men are evil controlling now. It's now women are stupid. That's their newest.
How do you think this is going to shake out at the pardon the expression? How do you think this is going to shake out at the Supreme Court level? At
the Supreme Court level? Well, I mean,
put on your crystal ball.
It's pretty clear that an organized, I assume the ACLU of Alabama is going to take them to court because, I mean, they've basically admitted, if they don't challenge this, they've admitted defeat. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the interesting thing. A lot of, I'm keeping an eye on some leftist intellectuals and thinkers, and they're basically, they basically believe that conservatives have been planning this all from the start, ever since Roe, like this grand plan. And like, sisters, I got to tell you something very straightforward. We've always been very, very frank. We conservatives and pro-life people, the agenda, we said it at the leader of the March for Life rally in Washington, D.C., said it explicitly. We are not just marching to put more restrictions or more bureaucracy. We're trying to make abortion unthinkable. We're not even trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. We're trying to do the same thing we did with slavery. Mm-hmm. We're talking at least 2 or 3 constitutional amendments to make sure to make it so taboo. You bring it up and your career is over. Mm-hmm. To kill a child should, be the most.
Well, on that very point, that's a good point. Had Hillary Clinton beaten Donald Trump, the left would have gone on their merry way, saying, okay, well, the conservative pro-life movement is dead, 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 because she would have codified,
buried it to the ground.
She would have codified abortion on demand, and she would have applauded the state legislation. I think it was in Virginia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of third term late abortion.
New York, Oregon, Washington D.C. proper. Yeah. A lot of at least 9 jurisdictions have it.
So were it not? I mean, this was not a conspiracy. This has been an agenda item for conservative, especially the religious community, faith-based community, this has been on their agenda since I can ever remember.
Since Roe v. Wade was passed. Well, what's really sad is they only started to wake up and realize that this was a problem once Roe v. Wade was passed. By the way, a lot of people forget Roe v. Wade was a decision made by 8 Supreme Court justices who were all men. They were all white men. So that decision is okay. That decision by men is okay. But it's never.
The reason why we're so big in Japan is because your logic is impeccable,
Well, it's not that my logic is impeccable. It's just I simply report exactly what their logic is, and just hold them to their own standards. That's it. We're
gonna wrap this up. I just want to announce that our followers in Japan, our viewers and listeners in Japan, they now equal half of our United States.
It's almost as much as our Armenian audience.
It's almost as much as the Armenians, but not quite, because you're an Armenian pinup boy. Let's face it. Right?
Yeah, anyway, you only put me on here for diversity.
Right.
Points.
Sayonara.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye, Alex.